Hey BBWs, I know we don't normally do this, but we have a trigger warning to offer for this episode because we all know that Titanic has very scary disaster images, but Shea and I realize that there are also a few self-harm images in this movie. So if that is something that is not going to jive with you at this moment, feel free to skip this episode. And near the end of the episode, the fabulous Brandon Ma, who you might remember from the Screen episode, will be joining us to share his experience watching this movie, some fun facts about the movie, and also a very special FMK with characters from the movie. So please stick around for that.
Come with us where the corn is popped and the throwback Thursdays never stop. It's a magical land not far away. All you have to do is just press play. So hop on the couch and close your eyes. Gonna party like it's 99. Join us, watch the movies of our lives with Blockbuster Wives.
Welcome to Blockbuster Wives, where your two favorite 90s babies talk about movies from the era of a certain blue and yellow video rental store. I'm your host with the most eggnog. Wait, did I say that last time?
I don't know. I didn't know we were doing holiday introductions because this one's not.
Surprise. No,
Oh,
I'm your host with the most mistletoe kisses, baby.
Ooh. And this is Stacy, not always kind, but always brings you a present. It's pretty lame.
Yes! And you're listening to
Blockbuster Wives.
Speaking of presents, Stacy just gave me one of my couple presents she's giving me for Christmas, which is so nice. And it is the best fucking calendar I've ever fucking seen in my whole entire life. If you guys have heard of Stabby Baby, have you? If you haven't, you're fucking missing out, and you need to look him up.
Do not walk to Instagram.
Straight up, he is so fine and so funny and just like a gift to this world. So thank you.
And he makes like a sexy little calendar every year.
Yeah, he made a sexy calendar. I guess I didn't clock that it was like a real calendar.
Yeah, I think this is like his second year doing it.
Well, it is amazing, and he's
Maybe
inspiring me. I want to make one.
Oh my gosh, you should. I feel like everyone should just make their own calendars.
Yeah.
Why not?
We should make one for Blockbuster
Oh
Wives.
my god.
Merch idea.
Wow.
Right. Well, anyways, what's going on with you?
Yeah, sorry for this unhinged intro, by the way. The wheels are off. We've been enjoying a holiday month, but we are changing it up a wee bit for this episode.
We sure are. It is still, in our minds, it's still like holiday themed because it is very cold based.
It's winter themed.
Winter based. But, well, technically, I guess it's not, but it is, you know.
Is it not in winter?
No.
Oh.
April.
It's just hella cold.
But it is in the Atlantic, which is fucking always cold. And we're talking about Titanic.
Dun, dun.
It's the 25th anniversary this year.
Yeah, like a couple days.
Yeah, in like 2 or 3 days. So we both thought, you know what? This would be a really good movie to bring up. It's also a classic 90s movie.
I think perhaps like the 90s movie.
Yeah.
Like when I think of 90s movie, I'm like Titanic is the king.
Mm-hmm. I would go as far to say like Titanic and like Forrest Gump are two of the most 90s movies ever.
But I don't think Forrest Gump made Titanic money, did it?
It made like crazy money, but I don't think it made Titanic money. 0%.
Much like Shrek, I'm like, who didn't see this fucking movie?
Oh, I know. And it's a long one for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like something that we're all really curious about, you know?
Yeah,
like the story
it
of
was
it.
a goddamn disaster.
Yeah.
But I will just also say that I think this is holiday themed in some ways because I find that in Christmas music in particular, there is a weird dark side. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sad ass Christmas songs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references to like ghosts and like spirits and shit.
Ghosts, spirits, nostalgia, like not having what you used to have and like longing for that, like a lot of longing.
Yeah, like the one song where it's like, I'll be home for Christmas if only in my dreams. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucking bleak,
like
bruh.
there's a lot of sadness in the holidays too. So if you think that the holidays are just too cheery and you've had enough and you want to be sad, then this is perfect for you.
Yep, and you can celebrate the 25th anniversary, which is just like Stacy said, in a couple days. Well, I guess when
in
this
our
releases,
timeline.
Yeah, and when this releases, it'll be
in your timeline. It might be different.
Yeah, it might be like the day of.
Yeah,
maybe. Okay, so I guess we could just jump right in because it is a long movie. We'll probably have a lot of things to say. So buckle up, baby.
You know what? I wonder if we can find out. This might be like the most rented movie from Blockbuster. Don't you think?
Yeah, probably.
A little 2 VH set. I don't know if y'all remember that. This movie is so fucking long.
I have that. I own it. And yeah, that was pretty revolutionary to have 2 VHSs for the same fucking movie.
Yeah, and people are like, wait, it's 3 hours long. That was back when movies weren't that long. Now I feel like no one bats a fucking eye.
I know. It's pretty wild. Okay. So you're going to look that one up?
Yeah, I'm going to look up most rented movie from Blockbuster.
Okay. That's a great...
Because I feel like it might be fucking Titanic.
I would not hold it against... Well, not hold it against what? I would not be surprised. There we go. Bingo.
Man, I'm not seeing it. I would hope that somebody would compile the list. It was like top 10 movies you used to rent from Blockbuster. I'm like, you don't know me, bitch.
Exactly. I rented Little Rascals so many fucking times, like every week for years.
I mean, it's a good movie. I'm just going to type in Titanic, most rented movie from Blockbuster, and see what happens.
Yeah. And even if they don't confirm it, I feel like you and I have a great theory about it, so...
Yeah, it's just all saying it's a Blockbuster movie, so it's kind of hard to find.
Well,
I'm just going to say our headcanon is that it is the most rented Blockbuster movie of all time, and everyone can suck it.
And no one will disagree. We'll find you. Anyway, okay, let's go to...
Corporate bullshit.
Bullshit. Okay. So, Titanic was released 1997. It was... let's see, it was different dates for different places, but for the United States, it was December 19th, 1997.
Can I share with you that I saw this movie in theaters?
You did?
I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know why they took me.
That is wild.
Yeah. Especially watching it now. Is it PG-13 or R?
Let me look that up. I don't think we ever really talk about that, do we?
No, because usually it's like doesn't really matter.
Let me look up Titanic.
But I vividly remember being in the movie theater because my mom covered my eyes on the part where she's naked.
I bet it. Do you think it's? I would think that it was 13. Yeah, PG-13.
Okay, so yeah, they didn't have to like go through the hoops of giving me permission or whatever, but I saw it in the movie theaters. I didn't really get it, not surprisingly.
Right.
I wasn't that scared, which looking back, I was like, that could have been very scary.
1,000.
It made me like very scared of boats, but I love boats to this day. So
yeah,
I'm
you do.
Very happy it didn't scar me for life.
Honestly, that would have changed your whole entire fucking life potentially.
But yeah, my mom covered my eyes so I wouldn't see Kate Winslet's titties.
That is
so
fucking
funny.
so funny.
It's like, look at all the violence and mass death and all this crazy shit, but no titties.
A human body.
And I was a young girl. It's
yeah,
like, it was gonna happen one day.
Oh, that is.
But I remember being like, oh my god, like I somehow knew they were like titties. Like I don't know, like I was like, oh, she's naked. I don't know, but it's just funny.
Probably because that'd be the only time your mom would cover your eyes.
Right, like no nudity.
Yeah,
random violence and horror is fine.
That is so wild. And actually, I have a strong memory attached to that being in theaters as well because we had just moved here like 3 months before the movie came out, and it was the first time my parents went on a date while they were here, and it was the only time they dropped us off at like Kid Zone or what is it called?
Yeah, because they didn't know anybody yet. They're like, here you go.
And it was the only time in our whole lives that they dropped us off at Kids Quest. They took Grady in the theater with him, who is my youngest brother. He was a baby. They brought him in the theater, so we were in there for like 3.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, that's super long.
And we hated Kids Quest. Like, we were scared. It was like us versus everyone else.
They had switchblades.
It was like, I don't know why. And we were so hungry, and our parents didn't like, I guess you can like give them money so that you can like eat snacks, which is like, it's just so weird. It's like,
I've never been in a Kids Quest, I guess, because they've just always brought me in the theater to watch whatever.
Yeah, it was just so I like specifically remember kids like chasing us and us like running away and having to like care for Hayes. Like Baron and I were like, we don't leave anyone behind. Like we were having our own Titanic experience.
Well, I wonder if they were like left there often, which is kind of the exact plot of a Bob's Burgers episode now that I'm thinking about it. Like they go on a wine train and they run into regular size Rudy and they discover that he's always on that train because his dad is online dating. And that's his thing is he goes on the wine
I
train
remember this
and drops
episode.
off Rudy in the kids' caboose.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a similar situation where these kids are like, we come here every week.
Yeah.
And we don't fucking know you.
Yeah, we've never seen
Bro?
you. Yeah, they were like chasing us around and we were running for our lives. We were like hiding in those like tubes that you like climb through.
Which are probably fucking disgusting.
Dude,
Ugh.
we probably, I trigonosis or some
Right.
shit. I don't know. Like,
some unknown diseases.
yeah, it was a bad experience for us. But yeah, I have strong memories attached to that being in theaters. Wow. So that's wild that you even saw it because that's crazy.
Yeah, and it mostly went over my head. Like, there are some key moments that I was like, hee hee.
Like, like you liked it?
Yeah, like they were just stuck in my head. Like when he's like, I'm king of the world.
Yeah.
Or when she goes up on her toes and like the lower,
bar
I was
scene.
like, that's cool. Like there's just some random things that I was like, yeah, but like overall the plot, no idea.
No, and you probably didn't know that it was real.
No, and I was like, I don't think I appreciated like that everyone was just like dying left and right. I was like, oh, they're frozen. That sucks. But like, you know, it doesn't hit you when you're a kid.
No, and it's really I don't know why it would mean anything to you, you know? Because like
Yeah.
we don't understand how death works, and we're just
Yeah,
like
love, and
"Maybe
I was just like,
frozen."
yeah, of course she likes him. That other guy fucking sucks.
Fucking sucks.
Like, I was
Cal
like,
fucking sucks. We'll
Yeah.
talk more about that, but yeah, no, I can't believe you saw that in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
It's one of my earliest theater memories.
One of my earliest was seeing Flubber.
Flubber.
I think it was like later that we need to
good.
watch that one.
Mhm.
That's a great one.
Yeah, we were both Robin Williams stans,
Fuck yeah.
so
Still
you know
am.
we were seeing all of his films.
Samesies. Except I haven't seen Patch Adams. That's one I have not seen.
That one's sad.
I know.
I
Which
have
is
seen
probably
it.
why I haven't
Yeah, it's
seen
not
it.
fun.
But all the other ones.
Not
oh
like
my
this
God.
movie sad. Me crying the whole last hour.
I know,
but
me
we'll get
too.
to it.
I was crying like all throughout. You know, no
so
big deal.
sad.
It really is. Okay. Yeah, actually, maybe we should tell y'all if you haven't seen Titanic, which I highly doubt, but if you haven't seen it, it is a disaster film above all else. Obviously based on a true story. It's horrific.
Okay, that was one thing I did have a hard time with at 6 years old. Because I remember asking my mom, I was like, okay, so that all happened? And she's like, well, like, the ship did crash, but, like, these people are made up. And my little, like, 6-year-old binary brain was like, wait, so, like, is it real or not?
Yeah.
Like, it was hard for me to understand that, like, some parts are real and some aren't. I was like, this is too much, everybody. Either these motherfuckers were alive or they weren't. Like, what's real, what's fake?
What's not? You're being very
Spiraling.
confusing right now.
Mhm.
You know what? In my mind, it still did happen because it plays like a huge role in like how big of a disaster it was, you know? Like tying in like a lost love makes it even more fucking horrifying, obviously. Okay. So where was I? Okay, so it released on
Sorry, you got through
No.
one fact and I'm
no,
like,
it's okay. You're like, let
Tangentville.
me tell you something about that. That's how this whole episode is gonna be. So yeah, released December 19th, 1997. It is 195 minutes. Yesterday I watched a version that's on Pluto TV and it had commercials, so I was sitting there for 4 hours watching this fucking movie. The budget to make it was $200 million. Makes a lot of sense when you like, we'll talk about this more in a second, but like James Cameron, who directed, wrote it, and produced it, he like used actual like technology to go down to the actual Titanic. So like,
Yeah, get ready for another tangent because like I'm obsessed with James Cameron and I think he's a genius.
yeah. So holy shit.
Yeah, he's incredible and it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I guess at that point getting 200 million would be kind of tough, but he must have had money from Terminator. So I think people were like willing to give it to him.
Yeah.
This motherfucker was building submarines to like go down to the Titanic.
2 of them.
And he does that with Avatar too. Like if the technology doesn't exist for something he wants in his movies, he'll just like fucking do it.
He's like, let's create it real quick.
Yeah,
What?
He was like a truck driver. He was a janitor. Like he's done all these things. And apparently if you're on set with him, he knows exactly who everybody is, like by name and what they're doing. What the fuck? Like he's a savant.
That
Like,
is-
he's just fucking scary
I-
smart.
Did not know that.
Yeah, like he's a fucking genius.
And he's a Canadian king.
And it shows. I feel like you can tell like this is a fucking masterpiece.
Fuck yeah, it is. All of his movies, from everything I've seen of his, fucking masterpiece. Okay, so yeah, budget was $200 million. Box office, $2.2 billion.
Oh my God. Multiple billions. Okay, 1 billion is crazy. 2 billion. I think we just are cavalier about that figure. That's so much.
Yeah,
that
pretty fucking wild. I'm looking up
staggering amount of money. So yeah, everyone must have seen it, everybody, because that's 2 billions.
Yeah, and I'm looking up the Ebert review right now because I have not looked it up.
I bet he gave it at least 3 stars. If he didn't, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna be very surprised if he didn't. Okay, let me see here.
Perhaps
4 stars.
Okay, absolutely.
4 stars. And
same as Shrek.
Yeah, same with fucking
the quintessential 2000s movie.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he loved it. Obviously, 4 stars. That's huge for him to give out. So there you go. Yeah, I think everybody knows this, but I'll say it anyway. It's starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and Billy Zane is in it. He plays Cal, who is Kate Winslet's fiance, who's a fucking prick.
Yes, so hateable.
He's a dick in every movie. And then Kathy Bates is in it.
Fucking our queen, Kathy Bates.
Dude, she is so fucking great. Her character is so amazing in this fucking movie.
And a real person, which we can talk about.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah. So that's all I have for corporate bullshit. Pretty wild. But if we want to continue on really quick to talking about, it was the first movie ever to reach over $1 billion.
It's just so much.
And the second movie ever to reach $1 billion was also James Cameron's movie, Avatar.
Yeah, which I know some people like to shit on Avatar as like it's just fancy Pocahontas. But I heard a very compelling argument on the podcast Chapo Trap House, which I'm a big fan of. Mm-hmm. And they're like, it's actually like Pocahontas is shitty because you know how it ends.
Right.
The natives get eradicated. And it's like, oh, it's nice that a couple white people are like, this is rad, but it ultimately didn't work.
Right.
Whereas Avatar flips that shit on its head and it's like, no, the natives like desecrate the American imperialists. Like they got people cheering for like Marines being slaughtered by like blue people and be like, fuck you. Like really made US imperialism like real to people and got them to root against it. And they ultimately win.
Period. Now, full disclosure, I haven't seen Avatar yet, and the reason why is petty.
Oh.
I want to see it. The reason why I haven't is because I promised someone who was in the movie who was a dick to me that I would never watch it. But I think I'm going to break that promise because I want to see it.
Wait, you knew somebody who was in the movie?
Yeah, it was Uncle.
Oh my gosh. He was, okay, would it be revealing too much if you say what they did in the movie?
You know what? I'll say his name. His name is Matt Gerald.
We're coming
he
for
was
you.
A fucking dick to me.
Matt Gerald.
He plays one of the bad guys.
This is now a Matt Gerald hate podcast.
He plays one of the bad guys,
God,
I guess. Yeah, look him up. Not like the main guy, I guess, but like the guy below him or whatever. And
oh my God. I don't recognize him. He's definitely
he dies
not the
in
main
every
daddy.
movie. Lol. Handsome guy. Very handsome. Super hot.
He looks like one of my clients.
Hot. But yeah, he was such a dick to me when I met him. And it was like right as Avatar was about to come out. And he was a dick to me the whole night. And then he's just like, yeah, well, you're going to watch my movie and you're going to like it. And I was like, I will never watch your fucking movie.
Oh, no.
And this is me as like a fucking like just turned 18-year-old. And I'm like, I will never fucking watch your movie, bitch. And I still haven't. And that was
I kind of love that for you. I kind of don't want you to see it just to stick it to Matt Gerard.
I know.
He was just like really rude to you, or did he do something?
He was rude. First of all, he was like very like elitist. So he was like really gross in that way.
Bullshit.
He also was the whole night. He just like was looking at me like he was disgusted with me. Cause
James Cameron wouldn't like that.
Yeah,
James Cameron's anti-capitalist.
Yeah, and also he was like, at that time I didn't have a phone, as you know. So he was just like, you don't have a phone? Wow. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't have a fucking phone. We're like
marching to the beat of my own goddamn drum.
He was just such a dick. And then he was just like, well, you'll see my movie. And I was like, I'll never watch your fucking movie.
Oh, man.
So,
wow.
Take that, Matt Gerald.
Wow, yeah, suck on that. That's one little revenue stream you're not getting.
Still haven't watched it, which is... I think there was another movie that was competing with it at the same time. Now I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, oh, I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to watch it. Wait, now I need to look up what movies were in theaters at the same time, because I like was mocking him the whole night that I was going to love that movie. It's going to be my favorite movie.
And I also wonder if he's in the second one. Now I'm going to look up Matt Gerald.
I think he died in
Avatar
the first
2.
one.
Well, okay.
But I don't know.
It says Matt Gerald to return for the Avatar sequels. It says the fact that he was killed. I guess he's coming back.
God damn it.
Oh no.
Wait, how should I look this up? Movies in theaters.
Okay, so when did Avatar come out? December 2009. So I'm going to look up December 2009.
Yeah, there was another one that I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to love it. Oh, I think it was Princess and the Frog.
Okay, that was not what I was expecting.
I think it
0%. These are all songs. No. Wow. It was probably Princess and the Frog.
I think it was Princess and the Frog.
I could see you telling him that you're only going to watch that, not his stupid movie.
Yeah, because he was like, the only one that's coming out at the same time that I'm actually worried about is Princess and the Frog. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to watch it like 12 times. I love Disney movies.
I'm gonna get tattooed on my body.
Which is kind of funny because now it's a fucking Disney movie. Lol. But back then it wasn't. So I was like, haha. Anyways, where were we? I'm like petty as fuck.
I honestly I was just talking about James Cameron $1 billion movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many movies have made $1 billion period?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I looked this up actually earlier when Stacy asked me. I guess 49 movies have.
Crazy amount of money.
Some of them are The Dark Knight, The Hobbit.
Oh,
weirdly
which
enough.
sucks.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Zootopia.
How much was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Was it also multi-billions?
That was... No, it was 1 billion, 22,290,000.
That's like 2 billion. Like, god dang.
Yeah, I'm looking up any ones that are even
movies that have made 2 billion.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Rogue One, The Lion King. A lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, Joker.
Okay,
Jurassic
only
Park.
5 movies have ever hit 2 billion.
Okay, what are they?
Avatar, number 1.
Yep.
Avengers Infinity War.
That makes sense.
Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Titanic.
Yep.
Avengers Endgame. It's like, that's all Marvel shit. And then Avatar.
Damn. Yeah.
So it's Marvel or Titanic or Avatar.
And he has 2 out of the 5. Which is wild.
He must be so rich.
But I do think it comes back to the fact that, like, not only as humans do we love, like, disaster movies, but we also love movies that are based on true stories.
And romance.
And romance, of course. And also, Kate Winslet and Leo DiCaprio are so fucking hot.
They are so hot. They're such good actors.
Such good. Like, the whole time I was, like, obviously Kate Winslet is amazing, but, like, I was watching Leo the whole time being like, he is so charming and believable. Yeah. Throughout the whole fucking
he doesn't
movie.
come off fake at all.
No. And in every movie, he's like that. You just believe every fucking word this dude says, like, no matter what, which is, I mean, amazing.
And do you think they were, like, actually in love? I think they must have fallen in love. Because
I do too.
It is, like, or they're the best actors in the world. Because I just feel like you could just see the love in their eyes and their interaction. Especially when they're, like, spinning around in the party. I was like, he looks like the happiest person on the planet.
I know. And even, like, moving towards that on a totally different spectrum, like, at the very end when they're, like, in, like, the middle of the fucking wreckage, like, disaster, the way that they're looking at each other and, like, grabbing each other and kissing each other is just, like, it's desperate. And it's, like, I think that's a really good, like, jigsaw piece in being in love. There's, like, a little bit of desperation always, you know? If that makes, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Right, and it's like, especially them, like, they know that it won't work.
Right.
But they like, literally can't help it.
No. They're like, this is it for us.
You're like, I can't stay away from you. We're obsessed with each other.
Yep. You jump, I jump.
Even though it's wrong, quote unquote.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. All right. Boom. So do you want to just kind of go over notes?
Yeah, I have many.
All right, cool. The first one that I have. So actually, if we want to, I guess we can give a little, what's it called?
Synopsis?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to?
I have something written down here.
Oh, wow.
Where is it?
A prepared synopsis. This is a rare treat for our listeners.
And actually, it's a screenshot, so I'll just read it out.
Wait, so somebody else wrote it?
Yeah.
Can we give them credit?
Wait. Well, it's the person who wrote the Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
I think. Okay, it's James Cameron's Titanic, an epic, action-packed romance set against the ill-fated maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic, the pride and joy of the White Star Line, and, at the time, the largest moving object ever built. And it's okay, incorporating both historical and fictionalized aspects. It is based on accounts of the sinking RMS Titanic. Stars Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet as members of different social classes who fall in love aboard the ship during its ill-fated maiden voyage.
By the way, do you know what RMS stands for?
No.
Royal Mail Service.
Really?
Yeah, because it used to be that you would like designate your ship whether it carried mail or not.
Oh.
And technically the ship did carry mail. So it's like the RMS, yeah.
That's wild. I would have never known that.
But I love maritime shit. Shay knows this.
Yes.
I don't know if a lot of listeners know this. This could be where it started, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love all books set on ships. I love pirate stuff. I love voyages. There's something about ship life in the ocean that I just really, really dig.
Which is why we're in love, because I scream maritime. I'm from the Maritimes, and I come from like a long line of like fishermen. So that makes so much sense.
Yeah, we both love the sea.
We really, really do. So the movie basically starts out in modern times. So, you know, it's like 1996, I guess. And you don't know that it's James Cameron, but James Cameron built submarines.
I don't know if he built that particular submarine, but he has built submarines, and I think he's the one who figured out how to get all the camera equipment down there, because there's such tremendous pressure at the bottom of the Atlantic, obviously, that it's like you can't bring normal camera equipment. So I think you have to like build specialized shit that could withstand the pressure.
Which is like, how the fuck do you even know how to do that?
Yeah, no, it's obviously incredibly expensive every time he went to go see the wreckage. And I guess he was inspired by it because like somebody got some pictures in the 80s. He was already into submarining and he's like, oh my God, I have to see it. Yeah. So he did, I think, the most trips to see the Titanic that anyone's ever done.
Wowza.
And it took 11 hours to do a Titanic trip.
Like, because to go all the way down probably took so fucking long.
And then once you're down there, they could only get like 10 minutes of video. So they had to meticulously plan. Like they had like a plan, like just like in the beginning of the movie, like they had to know exactly where they were going. There was no room for error. If they didn't get it, you just wasted $1 million and like everyone's fucking time and like hours and hours,
like days of planning.
Yeah. So he would have these like little models, I guess, that of the ship where he'd be like, okay, we're gonna go here and here, and they'd practice. Like, he's so smart.
That is so, like, I wouldn't even know how to begin to, like, I think this part of the ship is here, and I think this and this. Like, that is so wild that he was able to pull this off.
Yeah, and then he got, like, actual footage, which is where it all starts, is, like, a submarine crew getting real footage.
Yeah.
But the little wrinkle they add for the sake of the plot is the guy spearheading the exhibition is looking for a fatty-ass diamond.
The heart of the ocean,
which is like a very obnoxious looking blue heart-shaped diamond, which is like so tacky.
Yeah, it almost looks like sapphire. So imagine like a deep ocean blue heart-shaped necklace.
Yeah, it looks like what a toddler would draw as like a cartoon of like what a pretty necklace, but it was real.
Yeah, it's like the size of your fucking fist, basically.
Yeah, it's fucking huge. And so he's like, if we find that shit, like this shit will be paid for. We think it's in a safe. Like we know where to go. It belonged to this Rose lady.
And then so they're able to use the submarines who have like little tiny claw hands to like pick it up, I guess,
some
or like
twisters.
remove rubble or whatever. Grab the nips. Real quick.
They're like, we have 11 minutes.
Like, stop it. So he like grabs the safe, brings it back up. They're thinking, oh, we fucking got it, baby. We know this was her fucking room. Mm-hmm. We know this is her safe. Like, I know this is where it's fucking at, because I guess people have been looking for it forever. So when he opens up the safe above water, there's nothing in there except for like a bunch of papers that turn out to be wads of cash. But he doesn't know that. And then just like other little trinkets. And then he finds this drawing that it's like a naked portrait of a woman like laying on one of those, like, what are those couches called
fainting
again?
couches.
Yeah, the fainting couches.
Chaise lounge.
And so all of that is on the news. So then it's
I did write. I forgot this whole movie starts with a nude.
Yeah, me too.
Perhaps
Classic.
the most consequential nude in film.
Fucking gorge. I've drawn people nude before.
Oh, that seems like fun.
It is fun. I have a couple portraits of myself that someone sent to me as well. Very cool. Anyways.
Nude city bitch. Nude city bitch.
I know. That's my favorite way of receiving nudes, actually, TBH. So yeah, so basically it shows it on the news, and then you like not flash forward, but like it's a new scene where this older woman is making pottery. She's throwing pottery,
which is so hard, y'all. I tried that shit.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
And this old ass woman, who's beautiful, by the way, is like throwing pottery, and she overhears the news and they're talking about Titanic, and then she like gets up and she's looking at what they're talking about, and she sees the drawing and she's like, I'll be goddamned.
She's like, wait a second, I recognize that handsome mug.
Yeah, so she calls and she's just like, this is fucking me. So they fly her out to where they're at, and they're wondering, like, do you know what happened to the heart of the ocean? And she's just like, let me tell you a story. And so like essentially she tells them the story of like from the beginning of them like docking the ship and all that stuff to the very end. So that's how it kind of like it transforms you back in time.
Yeah, and I forgot, like, I knew that this was a flashback set movie, but I forgot how much the old lady's in it.
Yeah, me too.
And she's a great actress too.
She is. She's literally beautiful. Like, she does such a good job.
Wispy white hair.
The part where she, at the beginning where she's starting to talk about everything going on, she starts like crying in the middle of it, and I wanted to die.
It would be so bizarre, like, if that were true, like, knowing you're at like above the site of like where you found your one true love, but also so much death and horrible shit.
Yeah, like she had been there before. And also when she's getting off, this is something I forgot to mention, but when she's getting off the helicopter, I guess, on the site, you know, where all the researchers are at, there's like so many suitcases, and she's like setting up a room, and she has like every picture framed that she's putting on a wall. And I thought, oh my god, the trauma that she's dealt with. Right. No wonder she travels with everything she fucking owns.
And this movie's such a mastercraft, because it's easy to like forget about that scene, but then it gets tied together at the end in such an amazing way, which we'll get to. But I'm just like, oh, this movie's so smart. Like, it's so perfectly crafted.
And it's so beautiful. Also, seeing the Titanic underwater, like seeing the actual scenes of it underwater, reminded me that I have a weird fear that a lot of people don't know about. It's called submechanophobia, and it's when you're afraid of man-made objects underwater.
Like, you just don't like to see it.
Like, it grosses me out on a different, oh my god, like, okay, like I've had
so like any man-made object.
Yeah, so like
it could be like a bicycle, and you'd be like
no, like more so like for example, I've had literal nightmares, okay? You and I have been on this ride at Universal Studios, the tour, where you like go into the water and then like Jaws comes up. I've had nightmares where I'm swimming and I see like it underwater not moving. Like the shark, but the mechanical, not a real shark. That's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of a mechanical fucking shark. Or like they also used to have, because I think in that lagoon was where the Monster from the Black Lagoon or whatever was filmed too. And I'm also afraid of seeing that under, or like there's pictures of like a bunch of like statues that were underwater. Oh my, hate it.
So interesting to me, because I feel nothing. I just look at it, I'm like, cool.
It's
like,
so weird. I think I first learned about it on Tumblr, and I was just like, oh my god, that's what this is. Because I used to have nightmares about like being on the ride and then getting like shoved off this fucking tour ride at Universal Studios and like being in the water.
See, I think I always thought stuff underwater was really chill and normal because I was addicted to Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
And you do hella swimming underwater, and there's all kinds of cities down there, and I'm just like, this is chill.
I mean, I played a lot of that shit too, but for some reason, I don't know.
Did those lands freak you out? Were you like, nuh-uh?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's just real life shit.
Yeah, it's just the idea of me like swimming and finding like a statue underwater or like a mechanical. Like,
I wish you all could see her face.
It like
She is 0% having it.
I don't know why.
Wow, well, it's a thing. I mean, it's got a name.
Yeah, I looked it up because I was like, I know that there's a name for this, and there is.
Wow, so you did not like these scenes.
No.
Whoa, fascinating.
But, like, I don't know how to. Seeing the actual Titanic probably wouldn't freak me out, but it's the fact that I like know it's like, man, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't get it either.
Huh.
I don't understand
it
why.
seems specific, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what
And
it is.
you're not the only one out there.
Exactly. It's just freaky. I don't know why. It feels unnatural because it is. It's not something that would naturally occur.
We're not supposed to be of the ocean at the end of the day, really.
True. I mean, I love the ocean. I love being in any body of water. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, but like, maybe not the universal.
You're just like right on top, you know?
Yeah.
We're not going too deep down there.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know what's fucking aliens. Also, yeah, the fact that like a lot of the scenes from the beginning are the actual Titanic is pretty cool.
It is super cool.
Like there are some, the real ones are mixed in with the fake ones. They also made like an entire replica on a set, but like some of them are real, which is so cool.
Well, just this whole movie filming it, God, like
I know
the sets and how much was going on and all the fucking water. Like it would be such a hard movie to direct, but he just does it without a hitch.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible.
Like how many extras do you think? Like hundreds.
Holy.
Like it would just be, oh my God, such a nightmare to make.
I know, really, but clearly it's like what he's meant to fucking do because everything was beautiful.
Yeah, and this is like pre-CGI ruling everything around me, so it's like real people being like there's some computer effects, but really not a lot.
No.
And it's like nowadays they would just have like a computer generated thing or whatever, and they wouldn't have anybody. But it's like he had real people on a set that had real water gushing through, like crazy.
Yep. That is scary.
That's what I mean. Like it's
because a lot of things could also go wrong, even on like movie sets where like you have experts there, you have people there that could like a lot of the time they have like ambulances just in case, like paramedics, like all this shit, and even still hella shit could go wrong.
There's guns, there's like electrical wire, like there's just
fireworks,
a lot going on.
Yeah, lots of shit happening, but somehow he made it fucking work. And then so she goes back, she's kind of explaining just the mystic of the ship in general. Like it was called the Ship of Dreams, and it was supposedly unsinkable. And I think I mentioned at the beginning that it was at the time the largest man-made moving object ever.
Yeah,
created.
and she's like, oh, it was a dream ship, like it was so luxurious. They mentioned right off the bat, like, it's the unsinkable ship, which I'm like,
multiple times.
And I have this question for you. Do you think the Titanic would have sunk if they hadn't called it the unsinkable ship, or were like walking around advertising it as that?
I actually don't.
I don't think so either. I feel like if they were like more honest and less greedy and less like about creating a sensation, like maybe they would have had enough fucking boats. But it's easy to like dismiss all these safety concerns when you're out here telling everybody, oh, it's unsinkable.
Exactly. And like when you say something like that, you are setting everyone up for failure.
Exactly. It's like, don't say that shit.
Absolutely. Because
don't ever call a ship unsinkable. Just don't do it.
Exactly. Because if they were like, we still need to be cautious as fuck.
Right. Like any ship can sink, period.
And there's
period, end of story.
Yeah. Period, end of story. Anything that's out in the fucking ocean.
Right. It can fucking sink. All right. And I love how the one guy says, oh, she's made of iron. She can definitely sink.
Yeah. She's fucking made of iron. That guy was so cool throughout the whole movie. Cool. But yeah, I think like, and there's a lot of like Easter eggs dropped at this time because not only, well, I guess throughout the whole movie, because there's just so many cogs that allowed this to actually fucking happen.
Right. And that's what I mean by like it's expertly crafted. Like he gives you so much information in such like little ways that are just like building the irony, because you fucking know that ship's going down, and it's like you're seeing everybody be like, oh, we don't need all the ships, oh, look at the view, oh, this is great, so great, and you're just like, no.
Yeah, one of the ones that really drove me nuts, so there was like these two guys that are on a watchtower basically on the ship. They're supposed to have binoculars, but like a couple minutes before they show these guys, they're like, you know, someone's just like passing by and they're like, did they ever find the binoculars for the watch, blah blah blah, and they're like, no, they kind of got lost, we don't really need them. And it's like, bro, if they saw that earlier, this wouldn't have fucking happened. It's like so many things had to go wrong, and it's all because everyone was saying it's the unsinkable ship, nothing can fucking happen, so everyone was acting fucking way lax when they absolutely should not be.
And I do think like that's his theme for this movie, is like capitalism and greed and over-reliance on new technology will lead you to ruin, because you're not seeing obvious problems, and you're not like admitting that any ship can sink.
For sure. Oh my god, especially one this big made out of fucking iron, you said?
Yes.
Hello. What? And also, it's the early 1900s. Like,
right, like let's just slow it down a notch and chill the fuck out. And again, don't ever just say the words, it's an unsinkable ship. Just like, don't do it.
No, that is truly haunting.
Right, like if someone was like, you want to get on the uncrashable plane, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, never.
Nope, I'm
never
gonna go on the
life.
plane that people acknowledge can crash.
No.
Like, I'm not taking that chance.
Even certain like roller coasters and shit, I'm like, no.
Yeah, not rolling the dice with that shit.
I don't care how many times people have been on it. It doesn't matter. Anything could go wrong. Like, I don't know. There's just certain things that I'm just like, I don't have a good feeling about this. I'm not doing this shit. Okay, so once she kind of like goes on, and you kind of see the dynamic between Kate Winslet, whose character is named Rose, her fiance, whose name is Cal, and her mother, who's on the ship with her as well. So they're kind of like a trio in this. And then there's another lady, but I never know what her name is or what her deal is. But she's like another lady that's with her mom.
Other lady
with like a beauty mark on her face somewhere. And then it switches over to, you finally see Leo DiCaprio, whose name is Jack. And he's playing a game of poker with like people that all speak different languages.
Very cute.
And his bestie is Italian. So cute. What's his name? Fabrizio.
Right?
And they're all playing
or something.
Yeah, they're all playing poker. And then in the middle, you see that there's a ticket for the fucking Titanic. And anyway, Jack ends up winning the ticket. And they're like, it's about to dock in 5 minutes. He's like, fuck. So like he and Fabrizio fucking run to the Titanic, get on, all that good stuff. And it kind of switches back and forth from his perspective to her perspective of the ship, where it really shows the differences in class, which I also think is so fucking important that they did, because holy fucking shit. The difference is like beyond.
Yeah, and it's like people can't go down certain decks if they don't have the right ticket, and the meals are very different, and the rooms are very different.
Oh, the rooms are wild. How small the beds are.
I'll share a little bit of trivia with you. Shea and I got to go to a maritime museum in Nova Scotia, which you want to talk about the Nova Scotia connection to Titanic, because it's huge.
Sure. So I'm from Nova Scotia. If you guys don't know, I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Which is like the very east coast of this continent, essentially. And the Titanic sank, I think it's 700 miles. Is it 700 miles? I have it screenshotted here. Hold on.
Somewhat close to Nova
But it's
Scotia.
like, it's really fucking close to where the ship was wrecked. And yeah, I wrote some stats here actually. So let me pull those
what's
up.
really cool is, fast forwarding a little bit to the end, is there is a ship that comes to answer their distress call. Yeah. And is the RMS Carpathia. And that is a ship out of Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yep. Sure is. So there were 150 Titanic victims that are buried in Halifax. Out of the 337 bodies recovered, 119 were buried at sea and 209 were brought back to Halifax, but 59 of those were claimed by relatives and shipped back to their home communities. So on this boat, what was it called again? The
Carpathia?
Carpathia?
I think.
I think you're right. So the Carpathia actually had an embalmer on there and a priest, if I'm not mistaken. Plus they had like 200 tons or something of ice and coffins as well. And they
Yikes.
recovered so many bodies.
Why do they have so many coffins? They just
Because
happened to have
they found so many fucking bodies. It's like,
oh, like they went back out after they knew? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's pretty fucking awful.
Yeah.
And somebody described it as thinking it was a flock of seagulls in the water, like a giant flock of seagulls because of all the white vests. But anyway,
yeah, we should just say now 1,500 people died in the Titanic.
Yeah,
crash.
1,500.
That's a lot of fucking people.
And a lot of them were just at sea, you know?
I think, there was only like a little over 2,000 people on the ship anyway. So it's like a large chunk of them died.
A huge fucking chunk.
Rich and poor alike. The movie makes the point that, the first class passengers may have gotten first dibs, but like...
It doesn't really matter.
A lot of them still died, yeah.
Yeah, even on the ships, people fucking died because they were waiting for how many hours? Like,
I think 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah, before the ship came through. But yeah, pretty fucking wild. But yeah, so Nova Scotia plays a really big part in the wreck and the disaster that is the Titanic. And so there's a gravesite specifically just for Titanic victims and their families. And then there's also, like Stacey was talking about, the Maritime Museum, where they had a whole display of Titanic shit there, which was really cool. But the weird thing was...
Yeah, the weird thing was they had a section of that section that was Titanic in pop culture. That did not mention this movie.
Not one time.
And I was like, they must have some beef against this movie or something. Like maybe they didn't get any money out of it and they're mad about it. I don't know. But it was like, in 1930 whatever, there was... And I was like, okay, you're not going to mention the $2 billion hit Titanic.
For real.
Like,
and then in 2000, you're just like, you're skipping
I was like,
over...
wow, this is weird. But the reason I brought it up is because they had the menus for all the classes. Right. And I will say, the menu for the steerage classes was still like pretty good.
Looked pretty fire.
Yeah, it was actually still pretty good. But it's just the first class one was just like so extravagant that it still was like quite a difference.
Yeah. And like one thing that I found to be really funny was it showed like where Jack was sleeping, where there's bunk beds and the beds are, number one, so tiny, and there's 4 people in a tiny fucking room, like not even like a dorm room, like just the tiniest fucking room, like a bathroom
closet.
size.
Yeah,
like a closet. And then it shows Rose's room. She has like a giant suite, and then also she happens to have fucking Monets and Picassos just chilling.
She's like,
that
oh,
she
we
brought.
have to set these up for the voyage, and it's like, Jesus,
like, are you fucking serious? Hilarious. Which, granted, at that time they weren't worth that much money, but still, like the fact that she had like fucking Picassos and Monet. She had a water lily. She had water lily, bro. Crazy. Which is my favorite series. P.S. Anyways, doesn't matter. Point is,
it does matter.
So you go through that, and then you see again how much of a fucking dick Cal is, and really quickly you learn that Rose is like incredibly unhappy with everyone around her. Like everyone surrounding her is super selfish. They're all like egotistical. All they give a fuck about is money. They're all like gross capitalist pigs, and she's just like, this shit fucking sucks, and none of it, like there's a whole monologue that she says where she's basically the same people, the same mindless chatter.
Yeah, and trigger warning, self-harm. But I just had completely forgotten that is how they meet. Yeah. I thought that she was just like, like fucking around on the side of the ship, but it's like she is so unhappy that she tries to take her own life by throwing herself off the edge of the boat, which is like, whoa.
Yep. So she, like, one scene, she's just like running towards the edge of the ship. She
sobbing.
Goes all the way over, like she climbs over the railing, and she's like, if she slipped for 1 fucking second, which she does, you could be in the water for sure dead, like absolutely. So Jack sees this, and he's just like, so he like slowly,
and he had seen her before and was like, oh my god, she's beautiful.
Yeah, he did see her before and was like, holy shit. And then someone, not his homie, but like just someone that he met or whatever, was like, you don't have a chance with that. Which, you know, whenever someone says that, it's like,
foreshadowing,
you're gonna have the biggest chance with her, actually. So he essentially just like saves her, right?
And he's like, you know, if you jump, I jump. And she's like, no, like, you're crazy. And he's like, yeah, well, sorry, lady, my life is now in your hands.
And he's like, I'm involved now. Now, like, if you jump, I'm going to have to jump in after you and save you. And I'd rather not get in the water. It's this cold. And then he talks about being from Wisconsin, which I was like, oh, that's so cute.
But even just using this scene to establish the water is freezing. The ship is huge. Like, it just, it's so smart. It just lays so much groundwork for, like, how bad this is gonna be. Like, what a disaster it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, the whole time, there's even a part where Jack says, like, a little bit before this, he's like, we're the luckiest sons of bitches alive, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, as you're watching it, you know what the fuck is gonna happen, like, the whole time.
No.
And you're just like, no.
Well, even just the Rose thing, it's like, here she is trying to take her own life, and then the whole last hour of the film is her desperately trying to survive.
Yep.
And the promise she makes is to, like, live. So it's just so smart. I just love it.
It's so brilliant. It's
such a good movie.
It is such a good fucking movie. And I hadn't seen it in years. And watching it was just like, God, it's so good. It's
yeah,
so
and I
good.
actually haven't seen it that many times. I've probably only seen it like 5 times.
Yeah, me too.
But it's just, because it's so emotional. I was a fucking wreck.
Yeah,
I was like,
hard.
this is so sad.
It's really hard to watch, but it's also just like so beautiful. You can't take your eyes off it.
And it's like, yeah, it was horrible. So it's like, I do like that James Cameron is giving it the gravitas and tragedy that it deserves, because it was a horrible thing where a lot of people died in like very slow, horrible ways, like around each other. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, and the fact that there was never a movie made about it until then was pretty, like, that's a pretty big fucking deal. Like,
yeah, and it's easy for people to be like, well, that was in 1912, they're all dead now. But it's like, I'm glad that he's like, no, it was horrible, and I'm going to show you just how horrible it was.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he did, because it's very educational. You know what? Maybe the fact that they never mention Halifax. Maybe that's the reason why they have beef.
That's why I'm like, there's got to be something where they're like, fuck that movie.
Because they never bring up Halifax.
They mention RMS Carpathia.
True, but they never say, like, it's from Halifax.
Yeah,
maybe they're just
maybe
like salty.
The Halifax lobby is like, you motherfuckers.
Fuck you, we have a whole fucking graveyard, bitch. But that's dumb. They shouldn't be mad. Anyway. Yeah, so he, like, pulls her over. He's about to pull her over. She slips. She almost falls. He's like, I'm never going to let go, which is also foreshadowing. And so, yeah, they end up pulling her over. And the guys from, I don't know who, I guess they're not security, but they're like basically security.
Yeah, like boat cops.
Yeah, they're the boat fuzz. And so they run over thinking, because he is a lower class than she is, that he somehow was like pushing her over the edge. What the fuck?
Or like attacking her or assaulting her or whatever.
Right. So then she ends up lying to everyone, including her fiance, being like, no, I was just being silly and I wanted to see the propellers, hee. And
they're like, stupid bitch.
Yeah. And I slipped and he saved me. And Cal was just like, okay, well, thanks, buddy. And then Rose is like, shouldn't we give him something for helping us out so greatly? And so Cal's like, give him a 20.
And she's like, wow, that's how much my life is worth to you. And he's like, fine, invite him to dinner tomorrow, which is like really kind of rude in his mind. He's like, he's not going to fit in and it'll be hilarious.
Such
trying to be a goddamn
dick.
bully. But then joke's on him. Because Leo shows up to that shit stunting on these hoes.
He really does. So because of, I don't know, Kathy Bates' character, who they describe what she's all about. So she came from like new money. So she wasn't like, you know, an old money fucking
asshole.
Yeah, dickhead. She was like very cool and down to earth and like just a real bitch, you know? So she is wondering what homeboy Jack is going to be wearing to dinner, and he's like, this. And he's just wearing like regular trousers and like a regular shirt.
Street urchin clothes.
Yeah, and she's just like, no, come with me. And so she dresses him all up in her son's suit, which is beautiful. Like
so
the penguin
cute.
suit, gorgeous. He looks great in it. You know, they were only 21 and 22 in this movie.
I believe it.
She was 21, he was 22.
And when she has her hair down and curly, I know what you were thinking, because I was thinking it. Jamie looking ass. I was like, they're so beautiful.
The hair is so gorgeous. Our best friend Jamie, she's our other soulmate. We've talked about Becca a lot, but Jamie's our other soulmate. Her hair is just like that. It's so fucking beautiful.
And they're both like very pale and just angelic and amazing.
Just gorgina on a different level.
I do want to back up to one of my notes.
Yeah, do it.
Which is after the scene dies down and the guy like bullyingly asks him to dinner, he asks for a couple cigarettes. Yeah. And I wrote, it shouldn't be so hot for guys to put cigarettes behind their ears, and yet here we are.
Here we fucking are. And there's a scene, I don't know if it's right then or if it's a little bit later, but he like puts, actually I do think it's in that scene, he puts the cigarette in his teeth and he's like playing with it with his tongue, and I'm just like like
fine.
fucking spit in my mouth. All right.
But it's like, I feel like Kathy Bates, like, she knows. She's like, you're in love with her. I'm gonna help you out. Like, she knows what she's fucking doing. And it's like, she doesn't give a fuck because she's new money. So she's like, whatever.
She's new money, and she's like, Cal is a fucking dick. And I hate all these people.
Sucks. Yeah, like, go for it. Fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, she's like, you're one of my people. Like, I'm one of you. Let's fucking go. I'm gonna help you win. And she does, ultimately. Well, we'll get to that. Anyway, let's see. Where are we here? Oh,
and
yeah.
he shows up to the dinner and he's looking all fine, and Cal's like, and is like being so rude to him all night.
And I think before this is when Cal is trying to like make it up to Rose for being a fucking dick, and he gives her the heart of the ocean.
Yes. There's a scene where he's like, sorry, here's a giant fatty diamond.
And she's like, beautiful. But like, you can tell she doesn't fucking care. She's like, okay,
you're a fucking dick.
Cool. So yeah, then they go to dinner. He looks fucking amazing. There's a scene where like this part is so precious, and I don't know, my heart like melted. So he's in the suit. He doesn't know how to act in the suit. He's never like been to one of these dinners before. He's watching everyone walk in and like greet each other before they go into the dinner, and he's like kind of low-key like mimicking them to himself so that he can like practice, which is so
and I think it shows how smart he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's very able to like learn things quickly. He really does blend in really well, even with fiance being such a dick and trying to trip him up like every way he can. He's just like,
still like fully himself.
I'm charming, everyone loves me, fuck off.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, you're a fucking asshole.
He says life is a gift and I don't intend on wasting it.
Period.
And everyone's like, oh my god, cheers to that shit.
Yeah, cheers. And also, here's my fucking ass. Slap it.
Slap it now.
Slap it, sir. With your white gloves on, baby. All right, anyway. So yeah, he's like mimicking them. He's trying to like mirror them, I guess is the best way to describe it. So he's trying to like do everything right. And Rose comes from up the staircase and she sees him doing this, which is so cute. And then he looks up and she looks down and she like comes down on the it's so gorgeous. It's such a good scene. He escorts her into dinner, and then Kathy Bates is like, would you escort a lady to dinner? So he has like both of them on his arms. It's so sweet. And then so he sits down, and Rose's mother, who's a fucking cunt.
Yeah, she sucks.
She's
like, tell us all about steerage, poor guy.
Yeah, literally.
Like, so fucking rude.
Like, he's trying to blend in. He's like, I don't want to like be different. I just want to like blend in with these people and like get the fuck out of here. And she immediately is like, you're below us. Let's talk about it. Which is,
and then Cal, of course, is like joining in.
Oh yeah, they're perfect for each other. He should marry her. And of course, Jack is charming and totally real and isn't embarrassed about himself, as he shouldn't be. And he's just like very much like, yeah, I own who I am. And like Stacey said, life is a gift. I don't intend on wasting it.
Yeah, I'm homeless, bitch.
Yeah, he's a fuck. I'm a person experiencing homelessness, bitch. But he like makes it so like, he's just like, yeah, I have the air in my lungs and I have spirit and I can kind of go wherever the wind blows.
Rose is drooling like that.
Which is literally her dream, because she's like, all of these people suck and I hate, like, I'm suffocated right now. And watching him just be himself, and he's so happy, you know, and he's so free. She's like, that's the life I want. Oh my god, take me with you. So anyway, he's at dinner for like a little bit, and then the men like scurry off to smoke their cigars and all this shit, and then the women are still all sitting there, and Jack is like, "Milady," and he like kisses Rose's hand, but he hands her a secret note that says,
I forget what it says. Meet me by the clock, but then it also has like a come live or something.
It's something. It's a pun that has to do with the clock, because it's like, wait, it's not waste no time. They cheers about something, and she's just like, here's to.
Oh my god!
Not wasting time. It has something to do with like. Did I write this down? Hold on, let's see. Make it count.
Make it count.
So she's like, here's to making it count. So he wrote, make it count, meet me by the clock. And I'm like, oh, meet me at a spot.
So she obviously does. She sneaks away, and then they go party in the steerage, and it's like fun Irish jig. Everyone's drunk as fuck. Everyone's having a nice time. Everyone's mingling. Like, it's way better than first class.
And might I say, this whole scene reminded me, and I know I've told you about these before many times, this is exactly what it looks like at a kitchen party back home in
Yeah.
Cape Breton, baby. Shout out to my Cape Breton hoes. Probably none of you listen to this, but you know what I'm talking about.
Cape Breton hoe, we
baby.
talking to you.
So back home, Cape Breton is like this tiny like fisherman town. My dad's from there. My grandmother on my mom's side is from there. Like so many people in my family are from there. And it's like it's a pretty poor fisherman's town, but it's like one of the most gorgeous places I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like, it reminded me of the Shire when I watched Lord of the Rings the other day. And like, it's so Acadian, like it's so French Canadian, and it's so like, I don't know how to describe it, but like we have these things called kitchen parties where like someone's cooking in the kitchen, a bunch of people come over, everyone's drunk, one guy's playing the fiddle, the other guy is like bouncing his fucking foot on the ground, one guy's playing the spoons, and people are like dancing and singing and drinking and like just having a good time. And the whole time I'm like, oh my god, this is literally back home, like
Hell
Cape Breton kitchen party, baby. But they always look so fun when they're kind of, not that this is depicting that, but you know, it just looks so much fun. I want to go to that one. They're having the
time of their lives, and this is a scene where I was referring earlier, where like they're spinning around, looking at each other. It's like a very iconic scene, but like Leonardo DiCaprio in particular looks so in love.
Yeah.
It's
like he's
wild.
having the best day of his fucking life.
Like he can't even contain himself.
No,
that he loves her so much. It's
he's so
cute.
overjoyed, and she is too. And like she surprises him a little bit because you know she's very like prim and proper, but she's been drinking, and she shows him like, oh, I can drink, and she's like gulping this fucking
like
dark
chugs
beer,
a dark ass beer,
and then she's like, oh, you guys think you're big and strong, and then she literally goes on point, and it's hilarious and so cool. And after that,
which I definitely tried to do as a kid, I was like, I want to stand on my tippy toes. I could not do what she did though.
Oh, bruh, I could. My fat ass could never. Period.
Never.
Let's see. So, I think at this point,
she gets busted because
Yes.
her fiance's dickheaded manservant.
dude,
or
whoever
whatever.
the fuck this guy is, he's so
I know, like,
fucking
who are
lame.
you? Like,
Dude,
get out of
literally.
here.
You don't get paid enough to like care this
No.
much,
I'm
dude.
like, you're just like his fucking dick riding spy. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, you're like
but
a little
anyways, he
bitch
like
boy.
sneaks down there. He's like, oh my god, there she is. So he totally snitches on her.
Snitches
to
get
her
stitches.
fucking mom. And so her mom's like tightening her corset, being like, you cannot see him anymore. You're going to marry Cal. You don't want me to be a poor seamstress. You're being so selfish. And then Rose has a great line where she goes, I'm being selfish?
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. Yeah, because at this point, up until this point, you don't realize that, I guess, their family has run out of money. Like, her husband, so Rose's father, I guess, like, kind of left them with no money and just like fucking
died in debt. So they're like, oh my god, we don't have any money. But this kind of reminds me of Pretty Women, where it's like the upper class's idea of rich or like of poor is hilarious. Cause like, we can only have one servant.
Yeah, it's
And I'm like, what about your servant? What do you think they think about your like predicament?
Oh,
where
I didn't
you're
hear them
so
say that.
poor?
That's so wild.
No, I don't know if they say that, but I just have a feeling where she's like, we'd be penniless and I'd have to work. I'm like, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
I feel like your idea of penniless is like not.
Especially her saying like, we'll have to sell everything. It's like, yeah, sell a fucking Monet and maybe
exactly
a couple
in
of
your fucking set. What are you, crazy?
Yeah, sell a couple of your whatever the gold plated whatever you have at the house, guaranteed, and then you'll be chill. Like, what the fuck is wrong
exactly. That's why I couldn't stand Pretty Woman when I was reading it, because it was all like about them being so afraid of being poor. But then it was like, she said to her servant, and I'm like, you are not poor.
with you? Oh my god.
Like, y'all are tripping.
Is it Pretty Women?
Am I saying Pretty Women or Little Women?
Oh, I don't know. I heard is it Little Women?
I was probably saying Pretty Women, but I meant Little Women, which I always get these mixed up. The book with the 4 sisters or whatever.
I haven't read it or seen it, but
I think it's overrated, to be honest. Okay. And like I said, it's just like these rich ass bitches complaining. I do think one of them dies of like an illness, which is sad.
Sad as hell.
But it's like most of it is them whining about how, yeah, they're not going to like get the pretty new dress or ribbon, and that they're not going to have enough servants. And I'm like, you can fuck all the way up.
That's fucking gross. Okay. Yeah, no wonder you're like, fuck this fucking book. Oh yeah, and then the mom kind of says something interesting where Rose is like, this is really fucking unfair, and her mom's like, of course it's unfair, we're women, our choices are never easy. And I'm like, damn, okay.
And it's so true, and I do really appreciate that Cameron, this does pass the Bechdel test,
mm-hmm.
But I also like that Cameron shows like how suffocating it was to be a woman, and like how fucked it was, and like how they really didn't have any choices.
Right.
And I do think it's interesting, like if Jack hadn't died and Rose went off with him, like would she have been okay? Like,
No.
I think she would have been like, I want my Monets at some point. Like, maybe not, but you have to wonder, like, could a woman of her upbringing, was it just like a fun thing that she was like caught up in the moment, or would she have really been okay with this long term?
Oh, you mean if Jack hadn't died?
Right, and she did when she was penniless and they didn't have a home.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me romanticizing it, but I think she would have been okay. But I know what you mean, because I feel like a lot of people do romanticize that life, and then when they're actually living it, like sleeping on a park bench or whatever for a night.
Yeah, because like the mom is being cunty, but she's also being real.
Yes.
And it's like, we don't want it to be that way, but I think James Cameron did a good job showing of like, no, like that kind of is the only option.
Yeah, it's survival.
Right, like, yeah.
Like even a little bit earlier, you hear a man talking about like when she was like, oh, I was trying to look at the propellers, he earlier, one of the dudes like who doesn't even know them is like, oh, women in technology, like you can never let them blah. And I'm just like, you are so fucking gross, but that's how women were viewed.
Exactly.
Like, and probably and absolutely still are. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it did make me think, because it's like, well, I thought back to my Hocus Pocus thought where I was like, being a pilgrim lady would fucking blow. I was like, well, being a 1920s lady would fucking blow. And I'm like, well, that always kind of fucking blows to be a lady. Yeah. And it made me wonder, like, will there be something we're currently doing that we don't realize, or people would be like, oh my God, those poor women. And like, we don't even notice because we're just like in the sauce.
I'm sure.
Maybe like in the future we'll have sick days for periods or some shit.
I was gonna say,
and then
like,
we'll be looking back like, oh my God,
I was gonna
they
say
just had to suffer.
So many things I could bring up right now, actually, and a lot of them have to do with like menstrual cycles, but like just on a, I mean, well, I think bringing up trans women is really important, because like I think hopefully in the future, trans women will be viewed as women, period. Because now it's a fucking debate, but I think in the future it'll be like, wait, this was a fucking, are you serious? Like,
so many things. There is a beautiful whiskey commercial out right now.
Bro.
Have you seen it?
Bro, I
watched it this morning.
I recorded a TikTok about it. I bawled my fucking eyes
Me too.
out.
I just watched it today.
That's so weird. I just recorded a TikTok yesterday reacting to it.
So
it
sad.
made me fucking, it ruined my day in the most beautiful way. I was just like, this is so gorgeous.
If you haven't seen it, as shortly as possible, it's like this elderly man, and he's like sneaking his wife's lipstick, and he's going to the bathroom, and he's doing his makeup, and he's like very sneaky about it, and he's getting better and better. And he's picking up makeup tips like very like on the low, and you can tell it's like he's so embarrassed about it, but he can't help it. And then one day, like, a younger relative comes over who's like, looks like maybe they're experimenting with their identity.
A little feminine.
Yeah. And so the grandpa takes the kid into the bathroom, and they like do their makeup together. And so the young child walks out, and the family sees them, and there's a moment where they're like, I don't know how to act, but then everyone's smiling and welcoming, and it's like
them. And it's really it's just so beautiful. And anyway, like,
but it just made me so angry, because I'm like, why can't we just let people do what the fuck they want?
Literally.
I don't get why this is controversial.
Why is it a topic in the news like every day?
Yes. So the anti-trans shit right now is fucking bonkers. It's
bonkers. It's wild. It's disgusting. It's so harmful. And like, I hope in the future that like, oh my God, everything is going to be different, and people are going to be like, wait, this was a fucking controversy? It's like, it shouldn't be, bro.
And we need to be shutting this shit down. I love you, BBWs. Be brave.
Yes.
If you hear anybody imply that any queer or trans person is a fucking groomer or whatever, I want you to shut that shit down immediately. No mercy.
0% mercy. Fuck them. People should be embarrassed. People should be scared to say shit like this because you're a fucking moron.
And it's up to us, BBWs. Let's do it.
Yep. Raise your fists. We fucking got this.
Raise your
are
voice.
Together. We have each other. It's not always going to be like this.
Yeah. And we're not having it.
No. Also, give me their names, because Stacey and I will fucking
ASL.
go ape. Okay? Trust me. Anyway. Okay. So, where are we?
Anyway, I'm heated.
I'm heated now. I need a moment. Yeah, we're the shit that women go through.
Oh yeah. Wow. And like, it'll be interesting to see where we're like, wow, they were really limited.
You're so right. And I think also like the fact that period products are not free is wild. I went to, so in the Burbank bathroom at the airport, y'all, all of their period products are free in the bathroom.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this
could be it.
Could be everywhere. It could be in the men's bathrooms too. There's no reason to not have it everywhere. Like, I just don't get it. But I saw it and I got a little, not choked up, but I was like, oh, this shouldn't be such a big moment. But it is.
You're like a glimpse of what's possible.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, it's so simple. And yet, but anyway, so true. And I'm so glad that he highlighted that in the movie, because especially then, holy shit, no rights. Like crazy. Anyway, so pretty soon after this, the next note I wrote was, in all caps, deck would look too cluttered to have enough lifeboats.
I know,
because someone
like
is talking about it casually, and it's like, are you fucking? Especially because we know what we know, it's
right?
Like,
you're like, you idiot.
You fucking. It was all for aesthetics.
Yes.
Wow. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, and they say that we're too thirsty for the gram. We're too concerned about image.
Right.
Tell that to the Titanic.
Tell that to Oh, yeah, the guy that he was the one that conceptualized the Titanic, right?
The cool guy?
The mustache? No, not the cool guy, but the other guy. The guy that's
I was a little unclear on his role. I think he was maybe like the lead financier.
Okay, because he was he was the one that came up with the name.
Yeah, he's like Titanic, which is a cool name.
It is very cool, but he came up with the name, and I think he because he was the one that was like,
go faster.
Go faster, whatever. Yeah, what role did he fucking have in it? Maybe like PR. I don't know.
I think he was like the producer, for lack of a better word. Like,
yeah, because he really, and I think the other guy was the one that actually like helped build and design it. Yeah,
because he apologizes to Rose when it becomes clear that the ship is going down. He's like, I'm sorry I didn't build you a better boat, Rose.
It's
and then
so
he gives her his
sweet.
life vest.
Oh, and
he's the one who also said the comment about she's iron, she can sink.
Yeah,
his mustache man is like, she can't sink.
No, she's insinkable.
In full denial.
Shut the fuck up. Fucking. He was also in well, he was in a couple movies. Richie Rich, classic 90s movie. He was also in Jumanji.
Yeah.
And
he plays the dad, right?
Yeah, the dad and the other character in the jungle. Yeah, he's in quite a lot of like classic 90s movies. Anyway,
I think it's such a good lesson, and it's also like, I mean, how many times do we have to see that where it's like people so badly don't want something to be true because it gets in the way of their profits or their whatever, and so they're just like, no, it's not happening. Global warming.
Hello.
And it's just like, it doesn't really matter what you want it to be. Like, it fucking is what it is, bro.
Yeah, we have to actually be based in fucking reality.
And like facts.
Like, believe scientists who are telling you what's up. Like, what do they have to gain from anything? Like, it's just crazy.
And that's experiencing now in the Southwest with like all this water shit. It's like the scientists are telling us we need to cut our water usage by like 30%. Like, it just has to happen.
Yeah.
We're like, well, that's not gonna work with like capitalism, so we're just not gonna do it. And it's like, okay, well, this decision's gonna be made for us at some point, and it's gonna be way worse.
Yeah,
but sure, no, go make your money, I guess. Have fun.
Throw up projectile. I can't handle these motherfuckers.
But yeah, at this point, when the well, there's like a couple more like lovey-dovey scenes because she's like, I'm gonna stay away from you, and then she's like, I cannot stay away from you, and they have their iconic moment on the prow of the ship where their hands are out and you hear the fucking song kick in for the first time, and you're like, fuck yeah, they're in love. And then fucking old lady brings everyone back to crash in reality, and she goes, that was the last sun that the Titanic ever saw. And so you know as a viewer, shit's about to literally go down to the bottom of the ocean.
Ooh, shit's about to go down, actually.
Yeah, and they also explain at the very beginning of the film, like, exactly how the ship's gonna sink, which could, like, take away from it, but I think serves to just make it even more, because you're like, oh no, here's the part where it like bobs up, oh no, here's the part, like, you know exactly what's coming.
Yeah, it's really brilliant how they set it up, because it's in the back of your mind the whole time, and then when shit's about to like literally go down, you know exactly it's gonna snap in half, which also, by the way, was a giant controversy until the 80s.
I heard that. Yeah, I think that was at the Maritime Museum, right? They talked a little bit about that.
I think so, but the reason why I know is because I watched an interview of the very last Titanic survivor. The interview's from 1993. I can't remember her name, but she was on the Titanic when she was 7.
Oh my gosh.
So she remembers. She lost her dad on the Titanic, unfortunately. She still had her mother, but for decades she was telling people, no, the Titanic like snapped in half, and all these people were like, that can't happen. That can't be true. And she's like, I saw it happen.
And they were like, okay, little girl.
And people didn't fucking believe her for decades. How frustrating would that
It'd
be?
be so frustrating.
And then I think in the 80s, they finally were like, oh, actually, it did snap in half. And she's like, oh my
like,
fucking.
yeah, I told you that.
I've been telling
the
y'all.
whole time because I saw it.
Oh my God. I highly suggest watching that interview just in general for the history, but also she's such an amazing storyteller. And as she's like describing her experience, you see her kind of like looking to the side to remember. And she's an older woman. She's like, I think she's in her early 90s. I think she might be like 91 or something in this interview. And you just see how traumatized she is, understandably, by this experience. And it's like, it's such a beautiful interview. Highly recommend it. Anyway, yeah, so the Titanic fucking snaps in half. We'll get to that in a second. I didn't write like too many more notes after this, but we can
because
just
it's so exciting. Well, after she makes that very cryptic comment, we're like, oh no. Then you see Jack and Rose super in love, feeling very rebellious. Ooh. And so Rose is like, hey Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls in this necklace and nothing else. And he's like, gulp. But then he does it, and then they put the drawing with a little fuck you note in the safe, which is like, oh, that's how it got in the safe. And they're like, we're going bye-bye. Sorry, Cal. But then Cal finds it, freaks the fuck out, and starts tracking them down while they're like banging and making out and cavorting across the ship.
Yeah, there's like such one of the cutest scenes that I love so much, and it just shows how like innocent they are and how their love is like really blossoming so quickly, is when they're like running away from that fucking narc guy.
Yeah. And
he's like trying to track them down, and they're just like giggling and running away from him, going down the elevator. She flips him off, which is fucking amazing.
Iconic.
Especially in their like garb from the early the early 1900s, and she's like flipping someone off. It's so fucking cool. And then they find this place where all the like carriages are, and they hella fuck the iconic like hand scene.
Like,
they look so, and she's like, you're trembling, Jack, and he's just like, I'll be fine, I promise. I'm like, oh, they're so hot.
Sexy,
or how she's like, put your hands on me.
Yes.
I'm like, lots of consent involved in this movie.
Yes. All right. In 1912, people, take notice.
Take note from Jack Baby in every way, actually, because he's so hot and cool. All right.
Yeah, so they're running around, and then like people are starting to be like, wait a second, we just hit an iceberg. Is everything gonna be okay? And like Rose is smart, and she's picking up on things, and she's like, people seem really worried. And Jack's like, yeah, I think this is actually a big deal. So then they very kindly are like, we should tell Cal and the family, like, something's fucking wrong. So they seek out this asshole family to be like, yo, something's like not right, like this ship might be going down. But then Cal's just like, plants the necklace on him, so he gets fully arrested just on some bullshit. And then that's when shit really hits the fan.
And also Rose is kind of thinking like, wait a fucking second, did he steal this? Because she doesn't see that it's planted on him, and Jack is like, they planted this on me, I swear I wouldn't do that. And then they take off his jacket, and they realize like it's stolen as well. And someone was like, this jacket was reported earlier as stolen, and he's like, I was just borrowing it. And she's just like, this is a little sus for a minute. Are you just using me for my money?
Yeah, it also happened so fast though, and I'm like, well, she couldn't have really done anything anyway.
Totally.
She did. She was like, no, he couldn't have stolen it. He's with me the whole time.
For sure. But I think he just cared about what she thought of him.
Yeah, since she wasn't like, I know you didn't do it. He was like, oh no.
Yeah, he's just like, well, I'm getting fucking arrested or whatever the fuck. That fucking sucks. But I want her to believe me because I love her. And she kind of was a little sussed out by him, which is somewhat understandable, I guess. Anyway,
and also a lot is going on.
A lot.
Like, she knows something's up.
Yeah, like, why is everyone is probably like, why is this is the least of our fucking worries right now?
And that's kind of what she's trying to tell them. She's like, well, this is all a distraction, like some of this. But anyways, he gets carried off and handcuffed to a fucking like pipe, which is terrifying,
all the way down. Which is, of course, when the boat is sinking, that's like where the water is filling in first, of course. So as that's happening, you also kind of see the difference in how they're communicating what's going on with each class.
Yeah.
So with the lower class, they're literally slamming on their doors and like throwing them their life jacket and being like, everybody go up to the deck. And everyone's like, what the fuck? To the high class, they're just like, hello everyone, may I please escort you to the
Here's some brandy and music.
Yeah, please wear your petticoats. And they're just like, what? Like, this is bullshit.
And they all think, they're like, oh, this is kind of weird, but we'll be back in our chambers in no time having a little cuppa.
Yep, but nope.
But we all know that shit ain't happening.
Nope. So then they're all going up on the deck, but Rose pretty quickly is like, fuck this, I'm going to find Jack. Like,
well,
what
do you remember why?
No.
So they're talking about getting into the boats.
Yeah.
And her fucking bitch ass mom was like, I presume the boats will be loaded by class.
Right.
And Rose is like, that seems fucked up. Like, women and children first, no matter what. And then she tells her mom, she's like, listen, I was talking to the guy earlier. Mm-hmm. They don't have enough boats. There's only boats for half the people on the ship. Right. So half these people are going to die. And Cal hears this and he says, well, not the better half.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, fuck you. So that's when she decides to like go save Jack and not be with this monster.
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck? Oh, and I forgot, there's a scene before they go on the roof where Cal fucking hits her in the face.
Oh yeah, he fully slaps her across the face and it's like, you're a whore.
Yeah. Which is fucking gross. And then she's like, I'd rather be his whore than your wife, which
Hell
is
yeah.
incredible. And then she like runs. Oh, and she spits in his face, which is a callback because earlier, which we forgot to bring up, Jack was teaching her how to spit.
So brilliant. This is
so
a mastercraft of a movie.
It's so good. But yeah, so she spits in his fucking face. She nails it. It's amazing. And then she runs away to find Jack, who, like we mentioned, is handcuffed to a pipe at the very bottom where like water is starting to fill in. So he's like in a room by himself where the water is like filling up. Scary as fuck.
Yeah, and it's super cold and Rose is like trying to help him, her little nightie, and she has to like run around and the power's going out and it's like, oh, it's so scary. But then she finally gets a fucking axe and breaks him free.
Baby. And then she breaks him free, which is again really sweet because he's like, I trust you. Like he's being so chill and sweet throughout this whole like a fucking disaster, like the worst disaster at that time. Fucking handles it like a pro.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole plan. He's so smart. He knows. He's like, we got to stay on the ship. We got to be at the top. We got to do all this shit.
Yep. So
and he's right, of course.
Of course he's right. He's right about everything. Love this guy. So she helps him escape. And then
there's honestly just many riveting scenes of like near drowning disasters and like you see people like falling off the ship like crazy and shit.
Oh yeah, you kind of see exactly from the beginning of the movie where they're describing, okay, like this is how the ship sinks. You really see it happen piece by piece.
And the lower classes are like caged in as water is like filling up the steerage. Like it's horrible.
And people aren't letting them out, which is fucking disgusting. As the water is coming up, like they're gonna drown. And people in the higher class do not give a fuck, which is so fucking gross.
But anyways, so then they get to the top and everyone runs into each other again and everyone's trying to get Rose on a boat. They're like, please, they're loading women and children. You need to go. And Cal's like, oh yeah, go because I'm going to get Jack a spot in this other boat. I have an arrangement. And Jack's like, yeah, like we're definitely going to do that. So you should get in the boat. And Rose is like, okay. So she gets in the boat. And then it's getting lowered and she's just like staring at Jack like so sad. And then at the last minute she like leaps onto one of the lower levels off the boat and they're like, oh my god,
like what the fuck are you doing? And yeah, so she like runs to go meet Jack. Jack runs to meet her and he's like kissing her and he's like, you're
this
so
is where
sweet.
I started crying.
Yeah.
And it just didn't stop.
I know, me too.
Because I feel like every scene after this, she was like,
it's just so sad because you know what's about to happen and their love is just really beautiful, but also like so much horrific shit is happening every second of the rest
like,
of the movie.
because he's so happy she's back because they do want to be together. And I think there's something to being said about like, obviously any disaster is just easier to go with someone you know than completely alone. So it's like he's relieved but he's also like sad, like he's just very good.
He like really wanted her to be saved, which is so sweet because it shows like he's acting so selflessly and he's just like, I just want you to be saved, I don't care what happens to me, like I just want you to be good. And so
there's a kind of wild scene where Cal like loses his goddamn mind when he sees them so happy and he like tries to shoot them and he's like chasing them all over. Yeah,
he's disgusting.
But it's after that scene that he realizes that he had put his jacket on Rose with the fatty diamond in it. So now he's mad because his like $1 million little baby might be in the bottom of the ocean and he knows it.
Yep. So he's just like, fuck. And then he steals a child.
Yeah, he fully steals a
boat
child to get on a boat like a fucking asshole.
with all women and children, and he's like, I'm all she has, and the guy's like, fine, just fucking go. Which is like, the whole time I was thinking about this girl, because he's holding her on the boat on the little, and I'm just like,
yeah,
so
she's like, what the fuck is
does
happening?
her family not know where the fuck she is? Like, that's fucking
No,
scary.
they don't. Right, and he doesn't care.
Oh my fucking
Like,
God.
what if they put her there for a reason, like, stay here, we're gonna do this, that, or the other, and we'll be right back, and then he just snatches her.
Ugh,
There's also like a very powerful scene where like you're seeing the workers start to freak out because they're supposed to administer this whole like chaos process, and they know there's not enough ships, and they know they're not getting off of that, but they're like trying to load the women and children in, and the crowd gets unruly, and one of the ship cops shoots one of Leo DiCaprio's friends from steerage, which is really sad.
So
but then he
sad.
immediately turns the gun on himself.
Yeah,
he like can't.
Yeah, that's another
hang.
thing, you guys. There's a lot trigger warning of.
It's a violent movie.
It is very It's I
in
mean,
many ways.
there's lots of
self-violence, other violence, disaster violence.
You know what? Maybe you and I should record something for the beginning.
Like, listen,
like actually trigger warning from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the most famous movies of all time. But yeah, in case you didn't know all this was in it,
Yeah, just to like remind people.
Ass movie.
Because I
That
forgot.
I saw when I was 6.
Yeah, because I forgot there was a lot of self-harm situations involved. So maybe we should. But anyway, yeah, no, that part was very real because people obviously panic in those types of situations, but it's almost like you're not yourself at all.
Right.
Like it shows, like, I mean, it just shows like our need for survival, and that will like fucking do anything to survive.
Right. And how difficult it is to maintain like rules and order when shit hits the fan. It's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. That was like one of the biggest lessons we had to learn at 911 was like how to calm people down, because when they're panicked, they don't remember their address, they don't know where they are, they don't remember their own name. They're just like, so you have to be the one that's like, what's your name? What's your location? What do you see? Like, you have to be the one to reel people back in, which is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, so fucking hard to do. So, anyways, no wonder there was like a giant panic. And also, it's like immediate, like, okay, we're about to fucking go in the water, bitch. Like, about to.
Yes.
And so Jack and
the water is freezing.
Yeah, freezing. Like, literally below freezing.
Yeah, I looked it up. So most people died in that water within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time.
And I think they even say in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, that after 30 minutes, your body goes to like, well, I mean, what is it called? Like, not hypothermic. Yeah. Because it's right below freezing. I mean, like 20 degrees.
Well, and it's like water doesn't
degrees.
even have to be that cold for you to go hypothermic. I think it's like a shockingly like I think it's like 65 or below if you're in it, like, and you can't get out for 30 minutes, like you will go hypothermic. So it's like, just imagine if it's at 0.
Especially if you're panicked.
Yeah.
Which you would be,
Absolutely.
obviously. So as this is happening, Jack and Rose are like, let's climb to the top of the ship because, you know, part of it is going completely vertical. And so they go up to the top of the ship, which is very smart. And there's a scene where it shows like them and then this other guy with like a giant mustache who's wearing like a chef uniform. And they're all at the top of the ship. And that guy is based on a real person who is the last person on the ship. And he survived because he was drunk and he was a baker.
But you know what's interesting is scientifically being drunk will not help you from hypothermia. It actually makes you freeze faster. So it's like he's just like a medical miracle because he was in the water for 4 fucking hours.
Insane.
Like 2 to 4 hours. So it's like they don't really know how he survived because the drinking should have made it worse.
Oh, you would think that it would help because it warms up your bod.
No, it's like something to do with like it makes you feel warmer, but it actually decreases like your blood flow to your limbs, so
your
you
blood
actually
gets
like
thinner,
freeze
right?
faster.
Yeah.
So it's not helpful. It helps you feel better, and it probably helped calm him down, which may have helped.
So that would physically help.
But it still doesn't explain how he's able to survive for 2 hours. Like he just is like a miracle.
Yeah, so he fucking survived, which is wild. He should not have at all. But anyway, so the ship that's vertical, the part of it that's vertical that they're on top of, it's going all the way down. And fucking Jack is so smart, and he's just like, listen, there's gonna be a lot of suction when we go down, so you just have to hold your breath and start kicking. It's like, how the fuck did you know this, bro? Wild.
He's so smart.
He's so smart. So anyway, they end up going in the water. And Jack is like, okay, swim. And she's just like, it's so cold. And he's like, just keep swimming. And so he finds this, I mean, as we all know, he finds a fucking like door or whatever it is. And they both try to go on, but it's sinking under the water. And he's just like, you know what? You go on and I'll be right here. I'm going to hang on to you.
We need to talk about the door traversy.
Let's do it.
Because if you've been on the internet, you've seen memes being like, Rose is a selfish bitch because Jack could have fit on the door.
Right.
But I think that ignores physics and water displacement. Like, yeah, totally. He could have spatially fit on there, but it would have sunk.
Absolutely. So there would be neither one of them should have even been on the door then, because it would just sink underwater.
It barely supported her. Like, it barely had her above the water. Like, with his added body weight, it wouldn't have worked.
Right. And he's thinking probably like, okay, she's on there. My upper half body is out. Like, I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like.
But then he realizes the jig is up and I'm going to die.
Yeah. So that's why he's kind of telling her, he's like, you need to live your life. You need to not. What does he say? Basically.
So he's like, I want you to never let go of this promise.
Right.
And then the promise is for her to live her life free and.
Yeah.
And it's just so cute.
It's so sweet because he's just like, you're not going to die here. Mm-hmm. You're going to die an old woman with lots of babies in her bed, warm, after living a long, beautiful, like healthy life. Like, this will not be the end of your days. Do not let this be the last. Keep trying, keep going.
Right. And that vision of survival is what he doesn't want her to let go, which is just so beautiful and full circle when you think about how he met her when she was trying to take her own life. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want you to just I want you to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
And she says, like, I'll never let go of that promise.
Yeah. So, like,
it's so sad.
It is so sad. So a few hours later, as we talked about so I guess something that we didn't talk about was the lifeboats. They start like shifting people around. So there's more room. So they'll be like, okay, you women and children go on here. And then
because historically and in this movie, when it first started going down and people were still kind of in denial and not really sure what's going on, they were launching those boats with like 12 people in them when they could
could fit like 70
or maybe more. And so it's like, whoopsie. So when people fully see the ship go under the water, some of them are like, we should go back.
Right.
Which is what Kathy Bates' character wants to do. And she is based off a character that was nicknamed the Unsinkable Molly Brown, because I think she was involved in multiple shipwrecks and just never died. Yeah, like, she's crazy. But she also like wanted to go. She was like vocal about wanting to go back and rescue people. Mm-hmm. And she like, when this was all over, she organized like lots of events and meeting groups and burials. Like, she was like just a very strong pillar of that community.
What a bad bitch.
Yeah, she's a bad bitch.
So yeah, she's on one of the boats that only has 12 people, and she's like, are we really not gonna go back? Are you fucking serious?
And yeah, and the guy is like, oh my god, they're just gonna mob us and sink us all, like, so it's us or them. And she's like, well, we should at least try, maybe, because they're dying.
And she says something to them, like, she basically says like, fuck all you people.
Yeah, she's like, I can't believe you all, like, these are your husbands and shit, like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. So she's calling these bitches out like immediately. Obviously she has no actual power.
Yeah.
But she's trying.
No one's helping her. She's all alone.
Yeah. So but yeah, so like after a couple hours,
I don't think it's a couple hours.
Oh really?
I do think it was like maybe 30 minutes after like everyone had hit the water, but it's still too late.
Okay. Well, there's a point where
because they do get some people.
Right. Yeah. So there's this boat that only has like 2 people on it.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, they like kick everybody into one boat so that this one like little explorer boat can go out. And they're like, well, we waited long enough so that the suction stopped, and that's their thing. And then they're like, oh, everyone's dead. And there's like a really creepy scene of all the frozen bodies, including a mom with her baby. And it's just like, oh, it's so awful,
fucking awful. And something else I thought about too, which like maybe a little insensitive to bring up because we're talking about humans, but like 12 dogs were on the fucking Titanic.
Oh, dang.
Okay. Only 3 of them survived.
I'm surprised any of them survived.
Yeah. 3 of them fucking survived because they were tiny enough that people could sneak them on the boats with them, like in their jackets. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's so fucking sad.
Oh, man. That is
Poor
sad.
puppies. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay. Anyway. So, this boat is coming. She sees it, and then she's like, oh my god, Jack, they're coming, they're right here, like, let's go. And she realizes that he died
So
as they're holding
sad,
hands, which is so fucking sad.
And you get the sense like he just missed it.
He barely
like
fucking,
if they just come a little bit sooner.
it's so awful. So anyway, he passed away, and she's like close to dying as
Yeah,
well.
she's in rough shape.
Yeah, like her voice is super hoarse. She can barely make it. She's like, help, help, help. Like, you can't even hear her. She lets him go, which is so heartbreaking. Like, oh my fucking god. And then
gives
she
his
like
hands a little kiss. I was like, "Ah." Like, so done.
and then she like gets off the boat, and she like swims over to someone that she remembered had a whistle.
So smart.
Which is so smart. And again, she's like promising Jack, like, I will use my
like,
survival
I'm gonna
instincts.
survive.
And so, because the boat had already passed her by, so like, and there's no way that they would have hurt her. And she was literally about to fucking die. So she swims over to the person that had the little whistle, and she blows on it, and they find her. And yeah, she gets put on a boat, and then when she gets on the bigger boat, I keep forgetting what it's called. The
Carpathia.
Carpathia, yeah. They ask her what her name is, and she says Rose Dawson, and Dawson was Jack's last name.
Oh, it's so adorable. And she also like fully looks like a Sith Lord trying to avoid fucking asshole fiance who had the fucking misfortune to live.
But not for long.
That's true.
They describe how he doesn't survive very long after that, but like, we'll let you guys hear that. And then, yeah. So then it kind of goes back to her being an older woman, and all the people are just like
Sobbing,
like listening to her, like, this is the most amazing fucking story they've ever heard in their life. And she's like, yeah, I never told even your I've never ever talked about Jack before, ever.
No, which is so
anybody.
sad.
Which would be so sad, because it'd be like, you probably think that it was all in your head. 1000%, which
Or
I'm sure
like,
people have conspiracy theories about.
Or especially women of her age feel like, my new husband doesn't want to hear about this. No one wants to hear about this. Like, I'm the Titanic lady.
Which is horrible, because like, that's such an important story to someone's life, and like who she is, because you see all these pictures of her a little bit later where she like lived a really cool fucking life.
She honored her promise to Jack.
Yeah, she really truly lived her fucking life. Like,
yeah,
she
like
did everything.
Driving airplanes and riding horses and like doing cool shit.
Yeah, and like, because they had talked about earlier in the movie that he's like, oh, we're gonna ride horses on Santa Monica Beach, but you can't do the side saddle shit. And she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna ride a horse like a man.
Oh my god. Yeah, and she does that shit.
And she does, and it's just so sweet. So anyway, so late at night, she goes out to this boat that she's on. She walks to the edge, very reminiscent of when, you know, she was first on the Titanic, and she reaches in her pocket,
and she's got the fucking diamond,
the fucking heart of the ocean. And then it does a flashback to when she was she, you know, finally came to back in the day, and she like reaches in her pocket and realized that she had this fucking heart of the ocean, and she kept it all this time. And then she kisses it, and she throws it into the water with Jack.
Which is also like more anti-capitalism steez from James Cameron. Like, she's like, I don't give a fuck how much this is worth. Goodbye.
Yeah, because she could have absolutely sold that shit.
Yeah, and she's like, no, I'm not going to.
Nope. And then she goes back in her bed, and she passes away. And you kind of see her drifting to this dreamland where she's back on the Titanic, and everyone that passed away on the Titanic is like looking at her. And then she like walks up the staircase, and Jack's standing right there. Oh, and then they kiss,
sobbing the whole last hour.
I know.
Another one that made me lose it was there's the musicians who did play as the ship was sinking, because they were like trying to keep everybody calm,
and they died.
Yeah, well, and at one point, like, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get on the boat, and the one guy's like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay, and so he's like playing like a very sad violin thing, and then all of them come back, and they start, oh god, I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. It's so sweet.
It's so sweet, and it also shows like, when people say the arts aren't fucking important, bitch, yes the fuck they are. Yes, they are. Like, that is the only thing that kept people as calm as they were for as long as they were calm. Like, go fuck yourself.
The captain goes down with the ship, as he should.
Yeah, he did. And the dude that said, I'm sorry I didn't build you a better ship, pretty sure he passed away too.
Yeah, he's like water crashing all around him.
Yeah, it just shows so many important people who did pass away. And it's just such a beautiful movie. And so that's how it ends. And then, you know, obviously while the names are scrolling, it's like do 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 do.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Celine motherfucking Dion
Bruh.
and this song.
This is such a Canadian heavy fucking movie.
Yeah, like little bagpipes and flutes and shit.
Yeah, and like such like Irish-esque music, because, you know, Irishmen built the ship. And, you know,
oh, and the guy who shot the guy was a British guy shooting an Irishman. Symbolism.
Wow, motherfucker. Yeah, and then Fabrizio was like, how could you do this? And I'm like, Fabrizio, no. He's so cute. But anyway, yeah, it's a very like Canadian heavy movie, because James Cameron's a Canadian king. Celine Dion, that's like one of the, maybe the biggest fucking epic tune of all time. Beautiful, heart-wrenching.
I bet that was like at the top of the charts for forever. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Oh my god.
It's such a beautiful song. That's how I got to know Celine Dion. I was like, oh yeah, the Titanic song lady.
And I know that
Sorry, y'all. This is a long one. This is almost as long as the fucking movie.
Really? Holy
We're at
smokes.
an hour 40 minutes.
Oh, snap. Okay, well, I guess we should...
How long did My Heart Will Go On stay at number 1? 2 weeks. Okay, so not as long as I thought.
Well,
but it was a big one, all right?
It's a big one, and everybody fucking knows that song. Everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful song that really ties in the whole movie. I mean, it's like she sees him every night in her dreams, and then that's like how the movie ends, and it's just, it's so beautiful.
It really is.
Oh, and there's no pictures or anything of him.
Yeah.
They talk about that, which
I know. I was like,
that
you
would
should
be
draw
so
him.
hard to only, like, because she was like, he only exists in my memory. And I'm like, I cannot even fucking imagine how difficult that is.
Yes. Ugh. It sucked to be a woman. Okay. Are you ready for your trivia questions?
Uh-oh.
We've already been through like all of these, so.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1. What is Kathy Bates' character's nickname?
The Unsinkable Woman.
Unsinkable Molly Brown.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Yes.
it's close enough.
Unsinkable.
What does Rose say she's doing before Jack saves her? Like, what lie does she say?
What lie does she tell him?
What lie does she tell everybody about what she was doing before Jack
That she was
saved her?
looking at the propellers on the boat. Fucking liar ass.
We also talked about this one, but finish the line. Draw me like...
One of your French girls.
It's so good.
It's so hot.
What artist is Rose talking about that her douchebag fiance thinks is a loser?
Picasso?
Yes, I love it.
I was like, fucking... Oh, and what's funny is that painting I never realized was in that movie. I've recreated that painting.
Aww.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god.
Hey.
I think it's called... I'm going to totally butcher. I feel like it's called like 9 Ladies or something, but I don't know if that's true. But anyway.
And I thought that was a great way to establish Rose and Jack's relationship, because you get that she's like a very astute art fan, and she like gets it, and her fiance's like, I don't know. And then Jack's an artist. So I was like, oh.
And I don't think we ever really discussed that, but yeah, he's an amazing fucking artist.
Okay. Last question. What does Jack show or shout at the prow of the ship?
I'm king of the world.
Yay, you did it. That was it. I think we talked about all of those.
Thank you, my love.
But I do have a Which Titanic Character Are You quiz.
Oh my god, yes.
This is a BuzzFeed quiz, and it was for the 20th anniversary.
Cute.
Not
Okay.
too long ago. So, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Check my phone, lie in bed for a few more minutes, brush my teeth, take a shower, eat breakfast, play with my dog.
Cute. I definitely lay in bed as long as humanly possible.
Yeah,
so I'll say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? London, England, Cancun, Mexico, Rome, Italy, Sydney, Australia, Turks and Caicos, somewhere else.
Probably Turks and Caicos. I want
That
to be on the
sounds
beach,
sexy.
baby. I want to be in the water.
What was your favorite school subject? Math, English, science, history, physical education, something else?
Yeah, probably history, actually. I loved history.
Me too. What's your go-to snack at the movies? Popcorn, candy, nachos, hot dog, pretzel, something else.
Candy.
Candy,
for show.
babes.
And a Diet Coke or root beer. I kind of save root beer for movies.
Right, for special occasions.
Yeah, I don't know why I do that, but yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Telepathy, superhuman strength, invisibility, super speed, night vision, or something else?
Invisibility, so I could steal hella shit.
Ooh, you little thief.
From Robin Hood shit.
What trait is most important in your significant other? Honesty, loyalty, sense of humor, compassion, kindness, or something else?
I mean, I want them to be kind, but like I would say sense of humor because I feel like that would get us through
Yes,
everything.
the dark days.
Yeah.
Which food could you eat for the rest of your life and not get sick of? Pizza, hamburgers, tacos, fried chicken, spaghetti, or something else?
I'm going to go with something else because I would say sushi.
My God.
Every day.
yes.
Every day I could have it.
Oh, my God. You are Rose DeWitt Bukater?
Yeah, she has a weird...
Bukater? Like, it can't be Bukater.
Yeah.
Okay. And it just says, don't presume to tell me what I will not do. You don't know me.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, my God. Rose. Okay, I'm so excited to see who I get.
Oh, my God. If you get Jack, I'm going to die. It wouldn't surprise me because...
Let me just send one quick text. I think our producer might be home. Okay. There's that. No worries.
Okay. Here we go. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Check my phone, lie in bed for a few more minutes, brush my teeth, take a shower, eat breakfast, or play with my dog.
It's a combination of checking my phone and cuddling with my dog. Let's do check my phone.
Okay.
I'm turning my alarm off.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? London, England, Cancun, Mexico, Rome, Italy, Sydney, Australia, Turks and Caicos Islands, or somewhere else?
Sorry, I had to move my mic because my dog is cuddling me right now. What were the options again?
Yeah, it's okay. London, England, Cancun, Mexico, Rome, Italy, Sydney, Australia, Turks and Caicos Islands, or somewhere else.
I agree. Turks and cakes. Actually, I'm going to do somewhere else. New Zealand.
There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah. Of course you would go to New Zealand, baby.
Excuse me, Rumi.
What was your favorite subject in school? History?
Yes.
Okay.
We
What's your go-to? Wait, what'd you say?
So we might both be Rose.
Honestly, what's your go-to snack at the movies? I think I know.
Popcorn.
Yep,
I
or
can eat
pretzel.
A fucking bucket.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Telepathy.
I'm going to say something else because it would be flight.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'd be flying around these hoes.
Yeah. Okay. Which trait is most important in your significant other? Honesty.
Sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
We're going to have like the same answers. I'm interested to see if we're different.
Which food could you eat for the rest of your life and never get sick of?
I don't think nachos was on there. So I'm going to say something else.
Jack. You're
no
fucking
way.
Jack. Yeah.
No way.
I'm the king of the world is your quote. Of course we're Jack
Are
and
you
fucking Rose.
kidding?
Dude, I swear to God.
Wife. Wow.
You guys, every quiz that we take for the most part, if there's a couple involved, we get one or the like we're always the couple.
Jack and Rose.
My wife.
Wow.
Wow, that was so fun. Wow, this is going to be our longest episode.
Oh yeah, it's long. Well, this is a long movie.
It's the longest movie that we've done. Makes so much sense. But we appreciate you guys going on this long journey with us because this was maybe the least like
jolly,
funny and jolly
episode.
Thankfully, imagine if we're just like blah, 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 the whole time. But we both love this movie, and we hope that you guys take this time to watch the movie as well because it really is. I mean, it's horrifying, but it's also so beautiful, and the end message is really great, which is a quote from Jonathan Swift that I love very much. May you live each day of your life. And I think that's really important.
Beautiful. And near, far, wherever you are, you're here, BBWs.
We are here.
And our hearts will go on.
And our hearts will go on for y'all and for each other.
Well, we love you.
Love you guys. Love you, my wife.
Love you, wife.
And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Blockbuster wives and listeners. I am so excited to be a part of another episode, especially considering Titanic is one of the best films ever made. I'm going to keep this short and simple. I first saw Titanic when I was 8 years old in a movie theater, and I distinctly remember my dad covering my eyes when he was drawing Rose, but I remember pulling his hand away and thinking, that's not who I'm looking at. I became obsessed with not just the movie, but the ship itself. My stepmom, when I was 8 years old, painted the ship on my wall. I've been to the exhibit more times than I can count. But let's give you some little facts here. Fact number 1. Matthew McConaughey was the original choice for Jack. Second, let me think here. The first day on set, I almost said Rose. Kate flashed Leo to get it out of the way, just to break the ice. Berg. And third fact, let me think here. What's a good one? A majority of the underwater sets were actually built for the beginning scene. And then I could go on and on and on and on, but I'm not. Oh, you know what? That's an opportunity right there. My heart could go on and on and on and on and on about this film, but I'm not going to take up your time. That being said, I was also given a prompt by Stacy: marry, fuck, or kill Cal, Rose, and the unsinkable Molly Brown. Let's just fuck Cal, because he's the only option for me in this list of people. I'll marry Molly for the money. And unfortunately, I will kill Rose, but not before I snag that little nightgown dress that she wears at the end of the movie. Love you all. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to hear this episode.
Thank you to our producer Brent for his editing skills and to Grady for our delightful theme song.
If you have questions for us or would like to advertise with us, please email us at blockbusterwives@gmail.com.
And as always, please rate, subscribe, and tell all your friends about us.
We love you!